If you were to ask me what my favorite game of all time was, my answer would be a no-brainer. It's Stardew Valley. This hit farming sim may not have been the first of its kind, but it was the first one that I ever played, and so kind of was like my gateway into cozy gaming. While I have loads of hours and tons of saves in Stardew, I still consider myself a pretty casual player, and I have a pretty long bucket list. So, it's time to start ticking those bucket list items off. So I'm challenging myself to play 100 days in Stardew Valley with a couple goals in mind. Now, for the record, I am no professional. There are loads of people who are better at the game than I am. I'm going to try and tick off as many goals as possible, but I did try to be a little realistic when setting them because I am a ball of anxiety that crumples when there is too much on my plate. So with that caveat, here are the goals. 1. Complete the community center. Now, I've completed the community center so many times, but I've never done it in year 1, let alone in 100 days. Plus, it's like a classic goal in these 100 days videos, so I feel a lot of pressure to do it no matter what, so that's number 1. Number 2, reach level 10 in all skills. This one's going to be a lot tougher because I'm by no means a miner in Stardew Valley, and I like combat even less, so we'll see. I'm still gonna try. I'm gonna give it my all because I really want one of those cute little trinkets that 1.6 introduced, so I feel like it's a pretty doable goal if I put my heart to it. Number 3, collect 4 out of the 7 star drops. Now, I still want this to be a cozy playthrough, and some of the star drops are completely out of my league, so I want to get at least 4 of the star drops in these 100 days. The 4 that I feel most confident about getting includes reaching level 100 in the mines, purchasing them from the Stardew Valley Fair and Krobus's little shop, and giving a sweet gem berry to Old Master Cannoli in the Secret Woods. I also have 2 goals that really don't have any gameplay impact. They're just bucket list items that I've personally never done and would really like to achieve. And that includes getting all 8 rare crows and getting the galaxy sword. Oh, and I'd love to get married before the 100 days are up. Now that's a lot of goals, certainly more than I've completed in a year in Stardew Valley, and we don't really have a lot of time to do it either. 100 days is going to fly by. So, I say it's about time that we get started on our new life in Pelican Town. In order to start our new life, we need a name for our farm. I sat and thought about what made me happy and decided to go with that. I made sure to guarantee year 1 completable, and I also allowed monsters to spawn at night. Day 1 began by opening a present full of parsnip seeds. I spent the morning clearing out a plot of land and planting all of the seeds. Then I ventured out to say hi to the townsfolk. After being social, I felt it was a great idea to spend all of my money on potatoes, which I got planted and then tried to meet a couple more people before my social battery ran out for the day. Willie sent me a letter on day 2, asking me to come down to the docks. He gave me his old fishing rod, so I figured it would be a good time to start practicing the art of angling. After selling my loot for some quick cash, I spent it all on bean starters. I also met Emily here, who was super sweet and invited me to the saloon where she works. I got those bean starters planted and spent the rest of the day fishing, where I spent an embarrassingly long time trying to get a treasure chest. This is at 500% speed. And I still failed. Yep. Anyways, I kicked a trash can in front of Clint to make myself feel better and went to bed hitting level 1 fishing and foraging. Day 3 was our first official rainy day, so I thought some foraging might be nice. I found loads of spring onions in the forest and gifted a horseradish to my buddy Linus. Then I let my fishing failure of day 2 motivate me to catch a catfish, and it only took like 1 try. Trust me. I grabbed some cauliflower seeds on day 4, planted them, then went back for more cauliflower seeds, but somehow came back with potatoes. I don't want to talk about it. To clear my head, I thought I'd read a book or 2, but I had a lovely conversation with Gunther instead, where I told him that I'd help donate artifacts that I found to the museum. Marnie was at my door with a cat on day 5, and since I fully believe in the cat distribution system, I agreed to take her in. I got to harvest my first round of parsnips, and I got a notice from my ex-employers that they fixed the landslide that they caused. Lewis showed me around the old community center, which he was sad about being in disrepair. I figured I wouldn't tell him that it's also haunted. I found a weird scroll but honestly thought nothing of it because I was way more interested in the mines. Marlon gave me a sword to defend myself, and I made it to floor 5 before donating my first 5 artifacts and receiving some cauliflower seeds from the museum. It was such a busy day that I hit level 1 farming and mining. Clint came to my farm uninvited, but he taught me how to make a furnace, so it's fine. The wizard told me to swing by to help with the rat problem, and Marlon challenged me to kill 10 slimes. So I made myself a scarecrow and headed on over to his tower. He introduced me to the Junimos, who told me I needed to be one with the forest to read their scrolls in the center. I can do that. The Junimos wanted me to donate some items, and luckily I had all of the spring forageables found already. Completing this bundle gave me access to the pantry and fish tank bundles. Day 7 brought me a potato harvest. I replanted some parsnips and went down to visit the traveling cart. She didn't really have much for me, so I spent the rest of the day in the mines, making it to floor 15 by the end of the evening. I planted some more cauliflower on day 8, then donated a couple fish to bundles, fishing all the way through day 9 because I love fishing. My dad sent me 500 gold on day 10, obviously to buy more potatoes. And then because before this video I had very little practice in Stardew mining, I failed to make it more than 5 floors in the mines. But we did get a new sword at level 20. Robin asked me to find her axe on day 11, which I really didn't get to for a while because I had so much farming to do. I made some quality fertilizer and planted some parsnips before I spent the rest of the day fishing down by the docks. On day 12, I finally introduced myself to everyone in town. So I took a break from mining and had Clint upgrade my pickaxe. I figured I'd be nice and give a pretty flower to Haley, which she liked, and then she ignored me. That evening I was walking around town and bumped into George, who thought he had heard raccoons. Turns out it was just Linus, who didn't want food going to waste, which I fully support. The night ended with a really sweet moment between Gus and Linus. Day 13 rolled around and it was time for the egg festival. I bought my strawberries and got ready to crush all of Abigail's hopes and dreams in the egg hunt. So, say it with me. Suck it, Abigail, get frickin' wrecked. Obviously I won, and my prize was a cute little hat. So fashionable. I finished off the night by planting my strawberries and going to bed. Clint had my pickaxe ready on day 14, so I had him work on my axe while I dove in the mines. I managed to make 10 floors progress and hit floor 30. Day 15 was a big harvest day, so I got crops replanted and harvested some berries on the way to the mines, then spent the rest of the day stumbling around in pitch black darkness. I had to take a break to read the latest issue of Combat Quarterly, then got back to work. Should I have crafted torches? Absolutely. Did I? Didn't even cross my mind. But we did hit level 3 farming and level 2 combat. Day 16 gave me my first cauliflowers, which were the last spring crop needed for the bundle. After a pit stop at Clint's for my axe, I donated 5 gold star parsnips and the potato and cauliflower to their respective bundles. Doing this unlocked the boiler room bundle, which seemed relatively easy to complete with how much mining I've been doing. I wanted to get more seeds, but my peaceful shopping experience was interrupted by some solicitor offering discounts because he wanted to drive customers away from a small business. I may not love Pierre, but I like Morris even less, so I had to buy my potato seeds from the lesser of two evils. I finished off the day back in the mines, armed with nothing but a couple of berries, but don't worry, I did get some torches this time. I hit level 40 by the end of the day, getting a slingshot and hitting level 3 mining. The rest of my cauliflowers were ready for harvest on day 17. My day was then spent donating loads to the boiler room bundles and the museum. After spending the evening fishing, we managed to hit level 4 farming. Willie wanted us to catch 4 sunfish on day 18, so after picking up some more seeds and getting jump scared by spooky sounds in the sewers, I cast my line out and got my sunfish. Leah even came out to keep us company, which was so sweet, so I gave her a dandelion to say thank you. All of our sunfishing experience helped us hit level 6 fishing as well. Dad sent me more money on day 19, and Jody wanted a cauliflower. Luckily for her, I was able to pick one fresh from my garden. I brought Robin's axe back to her and started the process of building a coop. Then I ran to Jojo Mart to give Jody the best cauliflower ever, just to remind her that I am so much better than Morris. Guess who had even more cauliflowers on day 20? It was me. I sold most of my crop to Pierre for some quick cash, then bought more potatoes because I am incapable of growing anything else. Clint called me broke, so I didn't upgrade my pickaxe, which was very upsetting. I got those taters planted and then went back into town, where Lewis told me about a new initiative he's testing out to get everyone to help each other a bit more. I am definitely only in it for the tickets and the prize machine, but I told him I wanted to help just to make him happy. Round 1 of strawberries arrived on day 21, so I got those harvested and then headed straight into the mines. I had a lot of progress to make still in order to reach level 100, which is where my first star drop will be. Unfortunately, I only made 10 floors progress once again. I did hit level 5 farming. I chose to go for rancher, but I really regret not picking tiller, so I may respec that in the future. Demetrius showed up to my doorstep on day 22 with a proposal to use the farm cave for a little science experiment. I chose the fruit bat cave because early game fruits were way too stressful for me, but one of these days I will choose the mushrooms, I swear. I came back to Clint with way more money so that he would upgrade my pickaxe. Then I did some fishing up in the mountains, and thankfully I ended my day by hitting level 4 foraging, which means we can finally make tappers. On day 23, I woke up to an invitation to the flower dance for the next day. I made myself a tapper and plopped it on a maple tree so that I could start working towards maple syrup. But I was getting pretty fed up with having no inventory space, so I finally invested in the first backpack expansion. I also may have splurged on a new fishing rod, which meant testing it out for the rest of the day. I got my potatoes harvested on day 24 and walked myself over to the flower dance. Pierre was selling my first rare crow, so I snagged that before trying to get myself a dance partner. But spoiler alert, it didn't really work. So I hung out with my real friend Linus and only moped a little bit when the dance started. At least my scarecrow can have a partner now. My coop had been finished for a while now, but Marnie was finally open on day 25, so I got my first chicken, which I named Chickpea. After attempting the mines with my new steel pickaxe, I realized that I just wasn't dealing enough damage, so I dragged my butt over to the Adventurers Guild and bought a shiny new sword, which made a crazy difference. Suddenly nothing was a threat? Like, look at this! Unfortunately, I only made 10 floors progress, but I know I'll be able to pick up the pace with the upcoming days. At least we leveled up to level 6 farming, level 3 combat, and level 4 mining. The traveling cart had an apple on day 26, which I knew I wanted to snag. Since I had no more crops that would grow at this point, I had Clint upgrade my watering can for the next season. I donated a couple items to the museum, got a sick painting, and then went to the community center. Here's where I messed up. I should not have donated that apple to the artisan bundle. I really should have saved it for an upcoming bundle, but I completely forgot about it. I ended the day by fishing past my bedtime of 9 p.m. Day 27 started by waiting for Marnie to open her shop so that I could feed my child, also known as my chicken, because I don't have a silo yet. I gave her the hay and then entered the mines with a lot more determination. It went so well, in fact, that I got a fancy new sword. Look how fast I can swipe. And I made 20 floors progress, and I got new shoes. Oh, and I hit level 4 combat. Day 28 brought 2 completed boiler room bundles and opened up the bulletin board and vault bundles. I had some extra cash, so I bought the 2,500 gold bundle, which gave me a few chocolate cakes. Robin wanted some stone and was offering a prize ticket, but turns out she wanted me to collect the stone and not just give her stone, so it was a little embarrassing. I got my watering can from Clint, made a mayo machine since Chickpea started laying eggs, and then hit the mines. I had 20 floors between me and my first star drop, so I was ready to take it on. I was swiping slimes, I was bopping bats, I was slashing shamans, and then I passed out on floor 99. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. But at least we hit level 5 mining, so I chose the geologist profession. What a way to end spring, am I right? Day 29 marked the first day of summer. I told Emily that I could bring her a gold bar and then spent most of my money on blueberries, making sure to grab a couple of each other summer crop. I brought the fire quartz needed to complete the final boiler room bundle, which means I'll get access to the mine carts very soon. The rest of the day was spent prepping my farm, which now featured a couple fancy schmancy sprinklers. This will make my mornings so much easier, so I'll only have to water my blueberries from here on out. Our Junimo buddies fixed the mine carts overnight, the first of many upgrades to come. It was time for redemption in the mines on day 30. I was determined to make it to floor 100. It only took about half of the day to get through the last 5 levels again, which means we got our first star drop of the save before noon. I felt unstoppable, so I fished up a sturgeon to finish off the lake bundle, but then realized that I never donated a largemouth bass. In a crazy turn of luck though, a largemouth bass frenzy was happening at that exact time, so I snagged what I needed and finished the bundle. It must have been the star drop luck. After donating a few of the summer forageables, I hopped over to the saloon to give Emily her requested gold bar and cashed in the ticket she gave me for some summer squash seeds. I was really on the grind today, because I finished it off by catching the ghost fish as well. Day 31 kicked off with a request from Lewis to find his shorts, which frankly doesn't feel like my problem in the slightest. I protected my peace instead by ignoring it for now and fishing, being able to donate tuna, tilapia, pufferfish, and the ghost fish. Oh, and a sweet pea to finish off the summer foraging bundle. All of this got me to level 8 fishing. I expanded the farm to plant my summer squash on day 32. Then I told Clint, begrudgingly, that I could gather some copper ore for him to inspect, which I honestly wouldn't tackle for another day. Instead, I chose to make an extra 10 floors progress in the mines. I got some flashy new boots, and I hit level 5 combat, where I chose the fighter profession. My organizational skills have been lacking, so I set up a little furnace chest on day 33. Afterwards, I caught and donated a chub and purple mushroom to Demetrius's bundle, and some maple syrup to Gus's bundle. After cracking open some geodes and donating the artifacts to the museum, I hopped into the mines to get the copper that Clint requested. Only when I went to turn it in, he was closed. Typical Clint. I knew he'd frequent the saloon, so I hung out alone awkwardly until he showed up. Then I booked it out of there. Day 34 brought me my first hot peppers to harvest. I knew I needed to spend a little time working on the farm, so I added some paths and chopped down some trees. After grabbing some seeds I knew I'd need for some bundles, I had Clint upgrade my axe, and then zipped back to finish expanding my farm. The first rainy summer day happened on day 35, which also gave me a radish harvest. The only other important thing I did that day was catch the red snapper, which was the last fish I needed for the ocean fish bundle. This got donated immediately on day 36, finishing the bundle alongside donating a hot pepper, a cave carrot, and an aquamarine. I picked up my shiny new axe and made a beeline for the secret woods, where I got my first round of hardwood and caught the wood skip. I finished off the night by clearing out a couple stumps on the farm and hitting level 5 foraging, where I chose the gatherer profession. On day 37, it was finally time to finish the mines. I got to work and breezed through the final 10 floors, hitting level 120 pretty easily and getting the skull key. Day 38 opened with an invitation to the luau on the next day. They told me to bring something to add to the soup, and since I didn't have any good crops left, I panic fished up a gold star sturgeon to contribute. Afterwards, I gifted Linus a blackberry, and then he told me that he didn't trust me. One day, I will be your friend, Linus. I had Robin start building a barn for me, and then fished for the rest of the day. I had a bit of time before the luau on day 39, so I set up some new tappers on both a pine and oak tree. Marnie told me to throw in my ingredients, so I just tossed the sturgeon in and said hi to everyone else. When it came time to taste the soup, I just have to come out and say it. It was freaking awesome, and everyone loved it because of the sturgeon that I added. Obviously, it wasn't like a community thing. It was definitely because it was me and no one else. Anyways, it was a really sweet festival, and I went home happy that I could make them happy. On day 40, I got to harvest a bunch of wheat. The traveling cart was selling wool, which I decided to purchase for my own peace of mind. I'll eventually get loads of wool, but I was definitely in panic mode and wanted as many bundle items as possible at this point. Now we're about halfway through summer and I haven't even thought about dating any NPCs yet, so let's play a little game I like to call Who the Heck Do I Marry in This Save? We've been talking to 3 gorgeous bachelorettes recently, so let's go over the pros and cons of each of them and decide who we are going to date. Let's start off with Emily. She's super outgoing and invites me to things, and that's so wonderful, except I'm an introvert, so I don't think it'll work out. Haley really likes the gifts that I give her, but then she'll go and ignore me? I'm getting a lot of mixed signals, so I'm not sure if it's looking great. Leah enjoys spending time outside with me, which I really appreciate. She does have this kind of weird ex, though, I'm not gonna lie. I think I can look past it, though. And those are our bachelorettes. So, who do we romance? I love supporting artists, so I think we'll romance Leah in this save. I'll be gifting her salads twice a week and talking to her daily to max out her hearts as fast as possible, so you can always assume that I will be doing that every day, even if I don't show it. Now with that decision made, let's get back to the 100 days. After fishing up some rainbow trout, I split a salad with Leah, which is just so romantic. It was finally time for our first melons on day 41, which was super exciting. I got our second chicken from Marnie's, which I named Hennifer, and then I went to visit Leah, who has been stressing out about her art career. I suggested that she have an art show in town, which she seemed hesitant about, but she told me she'd think about it. After that conversation, I spent 5,000 gold purchasing the second vault bundle that we needed, and then the rest of the day was spent fishing. Who's surprised? I got a huge first blueberry harvest on day 42, so I set aside half of the regular blueberries for my new preserves jars, then sold everything else. After telling Pam that I'd get her a pale ale, I hopped over to the community center to finish the summer crops bundle, as well as adding to the animal bundle and the dye bundle. I got an apple sapling from Pierre so that I could guarantee apples sometime during fall, and got it planted by my crops. Then bought my first cow from Marnie, naming her Mufasa. I don't really know what was going on in my brain at this point. I think I was very sleepy. I don't know what else to say. Despite having an upgraded pickaxe for a while, I completely forgot to break the big rock in the mines, which led me to a room with a dwarf hanging out. Unfortunately, I don't know how to speak dwarf, so I'll have to revisit him another day. But all of the harvesting from the day did get us to level 7 farming. Day 43 was spent doing a bit of mining, having Clint crack open some geodes, and then donating a bunch of artifacts to the museum. I woke up on day 44 to something a little different. Everything was covered in a green shroud and my television wasn't working, which was such a cool feature but also very eerie. A bunch of new trees showed up and everything seemed overgrown. I got a bunch of moss, fiber, and fiddlehead ferns from harvesting weeds, bushes, and all of the trees around town. After saying hi to everyone hiding out in the tavern, I finished my day off with some light fishing in the green rain. Emily sent me fabric on day 45, which I promptly donated to the community center, alongside some strawberry jelly in order to round out the artisan bundle. And the reward was my first cake! Huge! I donated some maple syrup and pine tar to the exotic bundle, then the hardwood and regular wood for the construction bundle. After gathering 30 more stone from the mines, I got the 99 stone that I needed to finish off the construction bundle as well. Because I donated all of my resources today, I spent the evening chopping down trees to replenish my supply, which gave us level 6 foraging. So I found out on day 46 that the fabric Emily sent me was because she wanted to teach me how to sew. Whoops. I didn't tell her I already donated it because she seemed pretty excited. I'll just have to get some more fabric soon, I guess. I knew I wanted to start making specialized bait with a bait maker, but that required sea urchins that I didn't have. I repaired the beach bridge with 300 wood to give me access to the tide pools. This gave me the resources that I needed to make the bait maker, which I'd use very soon. I had Robin start building a silo for me on day 47, then spent most of the day fishing until I noticed the floating crab pot that had the last crab pot bundle item that I needed in the background. I got that donated to finish off the bundle and ended. Demetrius sent me a request for a melon on day 48, which I'd handle, but only after kicking butt in Troutfest. I brought my fancy new bait maker to give me a supply of rainbow trout bait, caught some fish, got some tags, and then I dropped my bait maker into the water. Yeah, I was mortified. But we got some pretty cool prizes, so I guess it was kind of worth it. Now, when I cut this video down, I thought I only harvested like 2 tomatoes, and that's how I got level 8 farming, but it turns out I harvested a lot on day 48, so we hit level 8 farming. Emily gave me even more fabric on day 49, which was very kind of her given that I didn't have any. I had Robin start upgrades on my coop, and then found her hubby in town to finish his request of a melon. After spending some quality time with Leah at the tide pools, I headed off to bed. Day 50 brought another round of crops to harvest. Before setting off, I made a couple more lightning rods to make use of the stormy day. I was able to finally donate 5 gold star melons to the quality crops bundle, finish the exotic bundle off with some oak resin, and contribute to the dye and enchanter bundles. Oh, and of course, I finished off the day with some light fishing. On day 51, I finally got some battery packs after the stormy day yesterday. And guess what I did? I sold them. Like an idiot. Oh my gosh, I really regretted this. I forgot everything I needed them for until it was too late. I happened to walk into Leah's while she was having a stressful conversation with her ex. We talked about how she did what was best for her, and she shared that she wanted to go forward with her art show. I'm so proud. Because I was really starting to rake in a lot more cash, I finally had enough money to purchase the 25,000 gold bundle to finish the vaults and repair the bus. I got a crystallarium for this, which I chose to put a diamond inside for some easy passive money. The Junimas worked their magic overnight, so I could start traveling to the desert. And, oh yeah, I hit level 7 foraging. I started day 52 with some melon and corn harvesting, which gave me the final gold star corn that I needed to finish the quality crops bundle. After that, it was time to hop on the newly repaired bus to check out Calico Desert. I did some foraging and caught the sandfish, then attempted to brave Skull Caverns. I made it down to floor 18 before getting my butt kicked by some new baddies. I did find a monster compendium though, before heading back up. I thought it would be a good idea to bring a tent kit and stay overnight, so I hit level 6 combat and level 7 mining while sleeping under the stars. Day 53 started with dreams of more skull caverning, but I really only stayed the morning before visiting Sandy and heading home. Someone had sent a challenge to me while I was gone to reach at least level 25 in the caverns, which I was very on board with since there was a lot of money involved. I finally got to purchase a duck from Marnie, naming her Goose. Then I completed the specialty fish bundle, the quality crops bundle, and donated my first wine to the enchanter bundle. I finished my day by getting an orange tree from the ticket machine, and I planted it next to my apple tree. I had loads of harvesting to do on day 54, which was followed by a trip to the traveling cart, where I purchased the rare seed in preparation for fall. I happened to be running low on copper, so I went down to the mines to do some resource gathering and actually completed a monster slaying goal while I was at it. My reward was this weird insect head sword, which I did not end up using because it kind of freaked me out. Our big harvest day helped us hit level 9 farming as well. Day 55 started with another round of selling battery packs. I am literally crying watching this. Why did I do this? I did some donating and got some great rewards, and then I asked Robin to upgrade my coop so that I could start working towards my greatest fear. The rabbit's foot. No, it's not spiders. Actually, it is spiders, but the rabbit's foot. I finished the day off with some fishing, which actually gave me a ton to sell, so it was a pretty good way to spend my day. Day 56 marked the final day of summer, where I had a ton to harvest and pick up. Lewis sent an invite to the town's gathering to watch the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. I spent the day mining until it was dark out and then headed to the beach. Of course, I had to see Leah first, where we shared a really beautiful moment down on the far docks. After Lewis released the lantern boat, I got to go watch the jellyfish come close for a little bit. This is the one event I always turn my music on for. It's genuinely my favorite in the whole game. There's something just so beautiful about the entire thing, and it makes me so happy. After admiring the glowing jellies for far too long, it was time to finish up summer and head to bed. Day 57 was the first day of fall, so it was time for another farm reset. I cleared out dead crops, tilled the soil, set up more sprinklers, and then zipped over to Pierre's to get more seeds, which honestly were mostly cranberries, but I got more variety this time compared to summer, so it's okay. I had some speed grow that I was saving for pumpkins, so I made sure to place that down before planting my seeds. This way I'll be able to finish off the fall crops bundle a little sooner. And don't worry, I didn't forget to plant my rare seed. Day 58 started with Goose laying her first egg. I gave Pam her pale ale, completely forgetting that she was on her way to work. Oops. Then I got a cutscene where Lewis and Robin told me all about a new kind of quest ward, one for bigger requests. I'd get to pick up a new quest weekly, and prize tickets awaited any completed tasks. I donated a large milk from Mufasa and a large white egg from Hennifer alongside Goose's egg, completing the animal bundle. Then I donated a hazelnut and wild plum to go alongside a blackberry I had donated from my fruit cave. Both weekly quests wanted me to dive into the mines, so I went with the dust sprites because I felt it might be a little bit easier. I had a couple things to give to the museum, which ended up giving me a second rare crow. At this point, I definitely had forgotten about my rare crow goal, so it was nice to get back on top of it. I found out that I won the Best Neighbor Award on day 59, which involved a prize of 500 gold. I told Marnie that I could get some amaranth for her cows, then headed down to bop some dust sprites on the head. This allowed me to hit level 7 combat, but I wasn't done yet. Because I went straight back into the mines on day 60, where I killed a slime and got a prismatic shard? I was genuinely in so much disbelief, like this has never, ever happened to me before, and I was over the moon because this meant that I could get my galaxy sword. I immediately left to gush to Leah, but she honestly seemed more interested in foraging. No big deal, I'll just pick up a book on foraging and learn more for her, because I'm thoughtful like that. I ended my day with a little redecoration and farm expansion, making sure to plant the amaranth Marnie wanted. Day 61 started with making a few more kegs, followed by a bunch of harvesting. I then spent most of my remaining money on a rabbit, which I named Golden. Afterwards, I caught the tiger trout needed to complete the riverfish bundle and expanded my farm a little bit more. I finished off the night in the secret woods, getting my hands on some new mushrooms and some more hardwood. I dug up a new book on the morning of day 62, which would give me a permanent +1 defense. I wanted to set up a little tree farm up by the trains, which I've never actually done before. I got all of the seeds planted before giving Evelyn a hazelnut in exchange for a prize ticket. This got us a Stardrop Tea, a new item from 1.6 that gives a really nice boost in hearts. I'll be giving it to Leah very soon. I told Clint that I could grab some coal for him on day 63, so I hopped into the mines to get started on that. Afterwards, I managed to fish up the walleye, which I needed to finish the night fishing bundle. I even ended the night with level 8 mining, so not too shabby. Leah was at my door with a gift when I woke up on day 64. It was a sculpture that she made, titled, How I Feel About Gracie. I think she likes us. I placed it on my porch to let her know that I like her too. Then I told Linus that I'd look for his missing blackberry basket. I then spent the morning harvesting my first round of cranberries and incubated a duck egg as well. It was about time that I got some bee houses going, so I crafted one and placed it near some mixed flower seeds that I had planted. Clint was grateful for the coal delivery, then cracked some geodes open for me. I was able to donate a couple items to the museum, get a snazzy vase, and then pick up a new weekly quest. I chose to do a tiger trout fishing quest, so it was time to get to work. Lewis sent me a letter on day 65, inviting me to the Stardew Valley Fair, which I knew I wanted to compete in. I was able to donate the walleye to complete the last fishing bundle and repair the fish tank, and then also finished the fall foraging bundle. It must have been Elliot's lucky day, because he wanted a bok choy, and I happened to have just picked one that morning. I made a bit more progress towards the tiger trout goal before going to bed and letting the Genoas take care of the glittering boulder in the mountains. I had my first harvest of yams on day 66, meaning I'm one crop closer to finishing the pantry bundles. Lily met me up in the mountains to teach me how to pan for ores now that the boulder was removed. It was time for me to expand my house because I was itching to start cooking some meals. I spent the rest of the day fishing, which led to our first level 10 skill. I went with the angler profession so that the fish would sell for even more money. In order to celebrate my fishing skills, I decided to treat myself to an iridium fishing rod. I forgot about Linus's blackberry basket, so I started searching, going past the bus where I found his basket laying near the entrance to a tunnel. This tunnel was a little spooky, but I found a lockbox near the end that needed a battery. I made a second bait maker, because let's not forget about the incident at Trout Fest, to get some tiger trout bait and finish the quest. Thankfully, I had one battery pack lying around, so I brought that back to the lockbox, finding a note from Mr. QI to bring a rainbow shell to the train platform. It was time for a pumpkin harvest on day 68. The traveling cart had a truffle for sale, which I purchased without hesitation because I knew I wouldn't be able to get pigs before winter. I got that truffle donated to the chef bundle, and then finished the pantry bundle with the final 3 fall crops. To finish off my day, I brought a rainbow shell to the train platform where a note asked me to place 10 beets into Lewis's fridge. Days 69 through 71 were spent almost exclusively in the Skull Caverns, but there were a few highlights of the days. Demetrius taught us how to make the farm computer as a thanks for fishing up the trout. My second duck hatched, which I named McQuack, and I got my galaxy sword. That's one goal checked off. Let's go. I was really focusing on killing serpents for the chance to get a rabbit's foot, but I had no luck. I did, however, find a really cool overgrown level and got a dinosaur egg. I popped it into the incubator and went to bed, hitting level 8 mining and level 10 farming. I went for the Coop Master profession to help Golden like me a little bit faster. Mr. QI sent me 10,000 gold for reaching level 25 in the caverns, which, after donating a couple items to bundles, I spent on the 3rd backpack upgrade. Day 72 was the Stardew Valley Fair. I grabbed my highest quality items and set off to set up my Grange display. There was a ton to purchase from the prize booth, including my second star drop, the next rare crow, and a prize ticket. I got to work getting those star tokens with the Grange display, then getting a little boost from the fishing minigame. Lewis told me that I won first place, so suck it, Pierre. I took all of my star tokens and started gambling. Eventually, I got all of the star tokens that I needed to get the prize ticket, then the star drop, which was a huge relief, and my rare crow. I had a burger from Gus, and then it was time for bed. Evelyn visited on the morning of day 73, where she gave me a garden pot and taught me how to make them as well. This will be super helpful for growing more crops indoors since I have yet to set up my greenhouse. After, I hopped on the bus to visit Sandy and buy some beet seeds for Mr. QI's quest, and then went back to the caverns to fight more serpents. Luck must have really been on my side because I managed to get a rabbit's foot incredibly fast. So I hopped back on the bus and went to donate the 4th dwarf scroll, which gave me a dwarven translation guide. This allowed me to talk to the dwarf in the mines, who was also a shopkeeper of his own. And guess what? He had a rare crow! I bought it immediately. I was so excited. Then I donated the rabbit's foot to finish off the wizard bundle, and a maki roll I made to finish the chef's bundle. I went to bed to the sounds of a strong windstorm and dreams of level 9 mining. Leah came back over to invite me to her art show on day 74, which meant that I cleared out all of my plans to go support her. I turned my pickaxe in for an upgrade, gave Leah some words of encouragement, and bought a bouquet because it was finally time to ask her out. In fact, I came to the art show armed with flowers and wine because I'm such a romantic. I had never seen the art show cutscene before, and it was so much sweeter than I expected. I'm not gonna lie, I did tear up a little bit. It was really adorable, okay? Leah was at the river after the show, so after asking her how she was feeling, I gave her the bouquet, which she accepted, and we shared a bottle of wine. I celebrated getting a girlfriend by setting up my greenhouse with some starfruit and the beet seeds, and then hit the hay. Caroline asked for a pumpkin on day 75, and luckily for her, I set a couple aside just in case. But as I went down to the traveling cart, I noticed one of the giant trees was looking a little short, and it could be renovated with 100 hardwood. I continued on to give Caroline her pumpkin, and then headed to the beach to talk to the old mariner, who said he had a marriage amulet to sell, but that I wasn't ready for it. So I spent the rest of the day fishing to prove that I'm a better mariner than he is because I need that amulet. After donating a couple artifacts to the museum on day 76, I got my next rare crow. I picked up my gold pickaxe from Clint's and then tried to make a new outfit at Emily's, but it didn't really work out. I kept the shirt but ditched the pants just in time before getting a really sweet cutscene with Leah, where I used my super strong muscles and lifted her up to get a fruit hanging from the tree. The next morning on day 77, I gathered the last bit of hardwood needed to repair that tree, making a really cute home for someone to move into. The rest of my time was spent in the Skull Caverns, bopping monsters, and mining for resources. I finished the day off by hitting level 8 foraging. A new town resident moved in on day 78, requesting 5 clams and a smoked tuna. Even though I won't be able to catch a tuna until winter, I never turn down an excuse to fish. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I ended up fishing up a diamond and an iridium band. Emily wanted me to say hi to everyone, which seemed like a simple and really sweet task, so I accepted and got to work greeting as many people as I could before falling asleep. Days 79 through 81 weren't very action-packed, mostly spent clearing out my farm and doing boring tasks, but my sweet gemberry was finally grown, so I promptly picked it and ran straight to the statue in the secret woods. Old Master Cannoli must have appreciated my offering, because he gave me a star drop in return, bringing our star drop count up to 3. Lewis told me about the mermaid's pendant that I failed to acquire, and invited me to a Spooky Spirits Eve festival on day 82. But I was only interested in the fact that the traveling cart finally had the faded red cabbage seed. I was genuinely stressing by this point, y'all, but we are free, we're good. I immediately planted that into the greenhouse, and then harvested the beets that were fully grown up too. Upon entering my coop, I found that my lizard egg hatched. I named it Spike and gave it a couple head pats. Look how cute! Then I snuck into Lewis's house and placed 10 beets into his fridge, where a note dropped down instructing me to give the sand dragon his final meal. Day 83 was the Spirits Eve festival. I bought my 5th rare crow, said hi to my girlfriend, and tackled the maze with ease, getting a golden pumpkin as my prize. The last day of fall came on day 84, so I did a bit of prep for winter by making some big chests to expand my storage. I had a few artifacts to donate, and then finished off the night by prepping some strawberry seeds to plant into the greenhouse. Gunther visited me on day 85, the first day of winter. He thanked me for helping with the museum donations by giving me a rusty key. On my way into town, I saw a shadow dart across the path, so I followed it down into the sewers. He introduced his name as Krobus and said that he even had stuff to sell. I didn't even think twice about buying that star drop that he had on hand. Easiest 20 grand that I've ever spent. I ended up catching my first legendary fish while I was down here, getting the mutant carp. The only other fish of interest that I caught that day was the squid, which I snagged at the end of the day. Ironically enough, Willie challenged me to catch a squid on day 86. To make the challenge a little bit easier, I popped the squid I caught last night into my bait maker. After planting the powdermelon seeds that I had been holding on to, I spent the rest of day 86 and all of day 87 in Skull Caverns to level up my combat to level 9. My red cabbage was finally ready to be donated on day 88. I immediately ran to the community center to finish the foraging bundle. Side note, I picked up some of the winter forageables in the winter section of the caves, but I never actually found the footage of me donating that, but that's why those are already filled in. The infamous dye bundle, and the researchers bundle, meaning the community center has been fully restored. I said goodbye to the little Junimos as they transformed the final corner of the community center. I had also finally racked up enough iridium to upgrade my pickaxe, so I had Clint start on that. Overnight, the Junimos repaired the bridge near the Adventurers Guild, opening up the quarry. Little Spike gave me an egg on day 89, so I put it in the mayo machine to make dino mayonnaise. The community center cutscene played upon entering the town, and it was so cool to see everyone gathered together. I even watched Pierre knock Morris into the atmosphere, which may have been the first time that I rooted for Pierre in anything. I figured I'd treat myself to a couple of books, learning a bit more about foraging and combat, and reading the price catalog for my own sanity. I caught a couple more winterfish before snagging a squid and giving it to Willie. Apparently I'm the talk of the town, because on day 90, everyone sent me recipes and gifts. Willie wanted me to meet him down in his shop, where he showed me this old boat that he wants to repair. Doing so would mean that he could take us to the Fern Islands, so I knew I wanted to help. I'll have to get him 5 iridium bars, 200 hardwood, and 5 battery packs. Yeah, the ones I've been shipping all year. This project may take a little bit longer than I had hoped. I grabbed my pickaxe from Clint and took it for a whirl in the caverns. It really mined like a dream, and it helped me hit level 10 mining. I went for the gemologist profession because I've been selling a ton of gems recently. Thanks to a nifty tent kit, I had camped overnight in Calico Desert. So on day 91, I brought a solar essence to the dragon skeleton, with a note telling me to check my lumber pile at home. After a day of mining, I traveled home to find a club card hiding in between the firewood. Jody invited me to dinner on day 92, requesting that I bring a largemouth bass. I went up to the mountains to fish one up, and then went down to Cindersap Forest for the Festival of Ice. Of course, I had to kick butt in the ice fishing contest, winning first place with 5 super slimy fish. Now, this festival houses the second to last rare crow that I need, but my dumb self started the fishing contest before buying it, meaning I never ended up getting it. But it's not the end though, I'll still have one more chance to get it. I spent the morning of day 93 donating artifacts to the museum and picking up the quest of the week. Emily wanted a bunch of pretty rocks, so I handed them right over to her. There was a sign advertising a new fishing competition called Squidfest, which I was very excited for. Then I headed over to Jody's with the largemouth bass for a scrumptious family dinner. Day 94 rolled around and I made a beeline for the desert because I really wanted to test out my new club card. I waltzed right through security and found myself chatting with Mr. QI. I bought some QI coins and looked at all of the games before landing on Calico Jack. This was my first time ever making it into the casino. Yeah, I've never really been one for the Skull Caverns before, so it was my first time playing all of these games. Calico Jack seemed to be my best bet in getting more QI coins, which I'd need a lot of in order to get the second to last rare crow. I lost some, then won some, then won some more, before finally getting 10,000 QI coins and purchasing this super funky rare crow. Day 95 was spent exclusively clearing out the western side of my farm, trying to up my foraging levels, but unfortunately nothing exciting to report. The wizard wanted a void essence on day 96, but I had a festival to get to. I warped to the beach and did a quick change into my fancy new fishing fit, say that 5 times fast. After catching a couple squids, I collected my rewards. My day kept getting better because the traveling cart had the final rare crow that I needed, which means we can tick off another goal. I finished the day by giving the wizard his void essence and heading home. It was time for a bit of a farm facelift on day 97, so I moved the greenhouse over to the far end of my farm and my coop and barn next to the fruit bat cave. Then I had Robin start on a new shed for all of my preserves jars and kegs. I ran into the wizard on my way up to the spa, where he gave me all of the history between him and his ex-wife, who happened to steal his magic ink. He tasked me with retrieving it, which would be a task for the future because I am not interested in it right now. I spent the remainder of the night completely clearing out the paths and sprinklers from my farm, giving it a really nice reset. I moved all of my fruit trees into the greenhouse on day 98, then turned over my axe for Clint to upgrade. I caught the tuna needed for my new raccoon friend, and then tried, and then failed, to fish up some cave jelly needed to make the smoker. My new shed was ready on day 99, so I picked up all of my preserves jars, crafted a bunch more, and then set them up in the shed. That evening, it was time for the first night of the night market. I bought some nice seasonal plants for the farm, grabbed a free cup of coffee, and then hopped into the submarine to do some deep sea fishing. I caught all sorts of new fish before warping home so that I wouldn't pass out. And here we are, the final day, day 100. I did a bit of redecorating and then hopped over to Clint's for my axe, before finally checking out the quarry. It had all sorts of goodies waiting for me, and a really ominous cave entrance. I'm sure this sign isn't warning me of anything. Inside, there were stone slimes and flying skulls, which honestly hurt quite a bit. Oh, but I did get a cool new scythe. And another prismatic shard. We are literally winning. I donated a skeletal hand and the prismatic shard to the museum before going right back to the night market for my daily cup of coffee and deep dive. I couldn't think of any better way to end these 100 days than to watch the mermaid show. It really is something, that's for sure. After playing the musical motif on the shells, I was given a pearl, the perfect way to end the night and these 100 days. Then I crawled into bed with dreams of the next 100 days. So, there we have it. 100 days in Stardew Valley has been wrapped up. While it's been a lot more of a casual playthrough, I still feel really good about what we completed. So, let's revisit our goals. We completed the community center on Winter 4. The traveling cart really cut it close, with the red cabbage seed showing up at the end of fall, but we finished it nonetheless, so it is a-okay. We reached level 10 in 3 out of our 5 skills. Fishing, farming, and surprisingly mining all reached level 10, but unfortunately, foraging and combat couldn't make it past level 9. I got my 4 star drops! I didn't show it in the video, but I did originally attempt to start fishing up all of the fish in the game. I just couldn't reach level 10 fishing by the end of spring to catch the legend. Even with food buffs, I couldn't make it happen. I did not get married. I know. This definitely is the one that I could have avoided had I decided who to romance a lot sooner in the save. I actually went into the 100 days not knowing who I was going to romance, and I'm incredibly indecisive. So that was on me. It was my fault. I actually reached 10 hearts with Leah the day after the last rain of fall. So it was tragically poetic that I missed getting the amulet by 1 day. 1 day. My 2 silly goals were both completed. I did cut it close with forgetting to get the snowman rare crow at the Festival of Ice, but the traveling cart had my back and had it on that Friday. So even with my little hiccup, we got the rare crows. And I got my galaxy sword, and it is now like my most prized possession. I am never letting that thing go. Don't worry, I get the hype now. I understand why everyone gets the galaxy sword. I'm never going to go through a save without getting it in the future now. There's still a ton left to complete in this playthrough, but I'm really proud of how these 100 days went. I know there were loads of things that I could have done better, but what can you do? Hindsight's 20/20, and I can't go back and change it, so I'm happy with how it went. Honestly, I'm just really proud of myself for giving this challenge my all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Bye-bye!